Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by Acrobatic Maine. Am I the jerk for blowing up on my husband's friend after her wife died? My 36F husband Ian, 44M, is close friends with a woman named Jenna. They've been friends for a long time before Ian and I got together. So I know her fairly well too, but we really have nothing in common and we're not exactly friends. Jenna's wife Laura very sadly and somewhat suddenly passed in early March. She was terminally ill but responding to treatment very well and was expected to survive another 2 to 5 years. She's been leaning on Ian heavily for support, which I understand, but she's been at our house every single day since and even sleeping in our guest room most nights because she doesn't want to be home alone. Which would be okay, except she is getting more and more passive-aggressive towards me and weirdly territorial of Ian. I've reminded myself that I don't think I could stand to see a happy couple for months if I lost Ian, and to be patient, it's not personal. My birthday was on Sunday. I got home Saturday after a morning out and Jenna was there. I was making small talk when I asked Ian what time he made dinner reservations for the next day. Jenna inserted herself right here and asked Ian if he was going to be out the next day and he said yes. She started panicking and saying that he couldn't, and she wasn't ready to spend an evening alone. I was going to tell her that she could still hang out here while we were gone, and she looked at me and said, "Don't you have any friends you can go with?" And I just blew the heck up. "Don't you have any other friends you can go bother?" and so on. She called me selfish for monopolizing my husband, and I had enough and told her to get the heck out of my house and not to come back ever. Ian had been trying to calm things down between us, but it spiraled out of control fast, and he ended up escorting Jenna out and telling her that he'd come visit her in a few days, but he would be backing my decision because of how she spoke to me. I was happy for his support and still am, but it's been a few days, and I just feel bad all around about it. I should have been more understanding of her, but I also feel like she should treat me more respectfully, and I'm not really sure if I overreacted. Our next post is by Maleficent Credit. Am I the jerk for telling my husband that if he pays me my hourly rate I will do more housework? I am a steamfitter, but I've been at it for a while and I'm in supervision. With bonuses and incentives but not counting benefits I earn over $100 an hour. I also work out of town. I started doing that once the kids were old enough to take care of themselves with their dad at home. So when my youngest was in middle school and the oldest was a junior in high school, it is great. Our retirement savings are piling up and we have been able to splurge on the kids and ourselves. My husband is upset, however, because I decided to pay for a cleaning lady. He and I discussed it and we agreed that him and the kids didn't do a great job keeping the house clean and tidy while I was away. I hated coming home to a mess. It caused a few fights because it was like they expected me to come home and clean up after them. Having her is fantastic. I come home to a clean house and I am happier. My kids have more time to study and do extracurriculars. They still have chores and they are still expected to clean up after themselves. My husband came to me last time I was home and said we should cut back on the service when I'm home. That I should be doing more housework. He thinks that we are wasting money. I said that I work 14 days in a row and that those are 13-hour days. Yes, it is mostly paperwork, but his job as a teacher isn't much more physically challenging. I said that I could offer him 2 options. If he wanted, we could completely get rid of the service, and him and the kids could make sure the house was in good shape when I got home. Or he could pay me my hourly rate to do extra housework when I am on my days off. He is upset with me and says that I'm being financially manipulative. I think if he and the kids actually did what they are supposed to do when I'm away, none of this would be an issue. Our next post is by Beginning Date. Am I the jerk for rejecting the worst name ever for our offspring? So my husband 38M and I 36F are expecting our first child, a bouncing baby girl due in a few months. We were both over the moon when we found out the gender, but now things have gotten complicated to say the least. See, when we first started talking about names, the boy name was immediately decided, Stuart Jr. after my husband. No problem there, it's a classic name and carries family meaning. But for a girl, things got murky. My husband suggested Stuarta. No, you're not having a stroke. Apparently his logic is that since Stuart ends in T, we can just add an A to make it feminine. I tried explaining why that doesn't quite work, how it sounds more like a furniture brand than a human name, how she'd be endlessly correcting people and explaining its origin. He's adamant though. says it honors him while giving our daughter a unique name. I've suggested alternatives. Feminine names that maybe share a similar sound or meaning to Stuart, names he's mentioned liking in the past, even just going back to the drawing board entirely. But he's fixated on Stuarta. I love my husband dearly, and I understand wanting to honor family. But I can't imagine subjecting our daughter to a lifetime of awkward stares and endless questions about her unusual name. I also worry about potential bullying and the impact it could have on her self-esteem. So Reddit, am I the jerk for refusing to budge on Stuarta? Is there any compromise I haven't considered? Help a soon-to-be mama out. Looking forward to your thoughts and hopefully some sanity checks. Edit. Please, no suggestions for other TA names. The man clearly has a theme, and I need to gently steer him away from it, not fuel the fire. Our next post is by Educational Error. Am I the jerk for telling my son to pay back the money he spent on his online girlfriend? I, 45M, have a son, 16M, that loves to play video games. I purchased him a PlayStation 5 for his birthday last year, and he plays online with friends. He's been telling me that he has been chatting online with a girl, 15F, and they have slowly started dating. They don't talk over the microphone as hers broke, and he has no idea what she looks like. I told him to be careful on what he sends her and to not give her any personal information. My son has his own credit card with a limit on it, and I told him to not go over the limit and only use it for emergencies. I got the credit card bill for this month, and there were charges repeatedly for the game he plays and charges of $50 to $100. I was furious as he gets gift cards for the games for his birthday and Christmas. I approached him with the bill and asked him what the charges were. He told me that his girlfriend wanted new stuff for the game and would break up with him if he didn't purchase them. I told him that I would pay the charges and that he would have to pay me back the money. I told him that there were many jobs that would hire him. He got angry with me that he wouldn't have time to work as he plays sports and school. I told him that if I was able to balance working and school, he would have no problem doing it. I took his credit card away. He's not speaking to me now only if it's in regards to being picked up or needing a ride to see his friends. He's mad that I'm making him pay the money back and get a job. Am I the jerk for telling my son to pay back the money he spent on his online girlfriend? Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.